Okay, so y'all know that Chandler and Haley just got back from Emerald Extravaganza. Is there anybody else on this call that was just really depressed all week watching their posts because you wanted to be there so bad? Because I was. I just was so sad. I was like, I am supposed to be in Alaska. So tonight we're gonna get to hear from Haley and from Chandler. Chandler had to record her stuff, so that's where the technology is gonna come in. But they put together this really super cool presentation for us. And Haley, just stop me if I am going too fast on the slideshow or whatever. Or like when your turn to tag in, let me know. So let's get this party started. Maybe.
Did she? Okay.
Yeah. So this is, I think she gave me an intro to slide one, slide two, and slide three. And then what do you have, Haley?
We'll just roll with it because I thought slide one and two and three were mine. So we'll just go for it.
Okay.
It'll be fine.
Hey guys, my
If
name
it's
is
mine, I'll
Taylor
just stop you and
Sanderson.
I'll start talking.
Okay. Yeah, just tell me. I can hit pause. Okay. Let me know if you guys can hear this.
Hey guys, my name is Chandler Sanderson. I'm a Sapphire ambassador with the company, and I got to go to my very first Emerald Extravaganza this year as a Sapphire ambassador. This was my fifth time going, and it was really, really, really sweet to have ranked up in this season. Of course, they honored us on stage, which was so unexpected, but also such a treat. And I just love how our corporate
What happened?
I think when Amy muted herself, it mutes everything.
way deeper than any of the excursions or events we went on. And truly, my biggest takeaway from this trip, a couple things, was the vision that is always casted to me. Because there are so many women there who are milestones and milestones and milestones ahead of me in this business, like way beyond things that I've ever dreamt of for our family. And they're currently at that's their reality. And so it always casts vision to me, and it humbles me quickly because I think maybe, oh, maybe this is it. Maybe this, I've hit my plateau. Maybe my warm market is tapped. I don't, whatever the thoughts may be that sometimes creep up. Like I'm quickly humbled, and I think, nope, like you need to go grow your vision quickly. The authentic relationships that just become so sweet in my life. Women that, we were strangers a couple years ago, and now it's like we all look forward to this trip. Our husbands have become super, super close, and they can kind of hang out while we're doing our thing at times. That's really sweet. And then the other piece I love is just the time that I get with my husband. So quick backstory. When I first started Plexus, my husband and I were exceptionally, exceptionally broke. He did the military path, and so he was actually in college as we got married. And so he was not bringing an income in when we first got married. And we had a couple of maxed out credit cards. I had a car that I was severely upside down in. I had student loans, and we truly were just drowning in bills. And so we couldn't afford dates. Like our date nights were $2 pizzas on the patio. We couldn't afford to shop. We couldn't afford to eat out. Like we couldn't even dream about going on a vacation because that was so far removed from our reality. And so to have this time that's so intentional and so first class, y'all, we flew first class round trip to Seattle. Those tickets were like $1,200 a piece. Okay. I would have never paid for that. Never. And we get that for free. Plexus covers it. Like it is such a sweet time because we truly just get to kick up our feet and relax and just receive. We get to receive for the hard work that we've put in all year long. And by the way, this trip is very hard to earn. I want to say there was only about 350 joules on the boat this year. I don't know how many people have actually earned it, but Haley Ross and I were two of the 350 there. And it just made me so grateful for the work I've put in, for the business that I've built, for the leaders that I have on my team, because I'm realizing like this is a really hard thing to earn. Okay. So I do not take this for granted at all. But anyway, sorry I'm getting on a rant. I want to share with you guys some of my biggest takeaways that I learned truly just through conversations with women. And again, I'm just so humbled every time on these trips because I learn so much and I just grow so much in relationships with these women. And it's just goodness. I come home from this trip every year feeling so inspired, so refreshed, and just like ready to grow. So, my first tip for you guys is drop the shame and lead with confidence. I talked with almost every woman that was there. I'm pretty social, I'm pretty extroverted. Not a single one of these jewels, y'all, not a single one of them said, well, I'm diamond, but I only have 12 or no, 2,000 points. Well, I'm sapphire, but I only am holding 1,600 points. Not a single one of them referenced their points. Not a single one of them referenced leaders who have quit in their organization. Not a single one of them recognized anything negative in their business. They all were talking about positivity. They all were talking about how we are soon going to start trending up as a company. They all were talking about how they've stayed in the trenches. They've continued to support their team. They've continued to grow to the best of their capacity. And at some point, as a business, as an organization, which is all very normal, we are going to start trending up, y'all. The ebbs and the flows of this business, we have to normalize, not just for ourselves and our own peace of mind, but also with our girls that we're leading, our team that we're leading. We've got to say that, yes, you may hit a rank and you may fall back in points the next month. You may hit a rank and you may stay there for several years. You may, start growing with a strong leg and that leg may quit. Like, these are all very normal parts of this business, and we have to normalize it. And we have got to drop the shame from our conversations. We've got to drop the shame from our speech. We've got to drop the shame from our posting and the way that we're showing up and the conversations we're having with our girls. And we've got to lean on confidence, even if it feels like you have to fake it till you make it, because what you focus on expands. Let me say that again. If you've not heard this quote, what you focus on expands. And so if we are focusing on the growth, we are focusing on, yes, I am a Sapphire ambassador. Yes, I'm a gold ambassador. Yes, I have earned senior gold. Regardless of where your points are today, we're going to allow that to help us grow. Not that that becomes our identity or our self-worth, but it's going to help us remain in a place of confidence. And we're going to start recruiting like-minded, confident leaders. Confidence, confidence, confidence is key to recruiting confident leaders. And so just give yourself a little check and be like, have I thought any shameful thoughts in the past week or two? Have I made any posts that have been negative? Have I struggled to make posts or show up on my social media all because of the shame that I've just been sitting in? And I want you guys, actually truly go write it down on a piece of paper and go burn it or go crumple it up and throw it into the trash. It is not serving you. It is not serving your business. It is not serving your current team. It's not serving your leaders. It's not serving your social media. It's not serving the Lord. So just get rid of the shame, get rid of the negativity, and focus on growth and focus on confidence. Okay. There's my first tip.
Okay, Haley, what do you have to say, girl? Or tell me where I'm supposed to go.
Do I have like a slide or something?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay. I'm Haley Ross, and yeah. Anyways,
Whoop, whoop. Where's Haley?
this is me. There we go. Okay. Mine's gonna be obviously a little bit different, but I came home. Here, you can go to the next slide. And it's so weird, yes, this is Haley not in her closet. I'm gonna talk to you guys and not look at the slides because I cannot just it's so weird to just talk to a slide. Okay, but I think tip number 1 was ditch the hustle, maybe. That does not mean stop working. But what I came home so convicted of is you don't have to run your business the way everyone else does. You guys, the amount of times I've said, well, Jordan Runberry does this. Well, Jordan Runberry does this. And they're like, are you Jordan Runberry? I'm like, I want to be, But you guys, I can't work I can't post in my stories all day and do this and because I work. So I have a different style than she does. Does that make sense? So comparison will steal your joy. First of all, everyone should know that. But if you're not, okay, so hustle culture, you don't have to be in that. And I think I've always been there because I like to win. I'm a 3 and I'm a red and I like to get it done. Right. But what I've realized is that it can be done in such a different way. It doesn't have to be oh my gosh, here. One thing that my tips are kind of all over the place, but just bear with me. They're good. Okay. My, like, the social media tips I got, they were like, why are you not planning out your content? And I was like, well, I used to, but now I don't. So this week I sat down Sunday. It took me 30 minutes and I typed up all my stuff and I scheduled them all on Instagram. You guys, if you did not know you can schedule your posts on Instagram, you are missing out. The best thing ever. But like, so I feel like my hustle was on Sunday and not chasing my butt all week, just posting to post. Does that make sense? Okay, raise your hand if you feel like you've just thrown up a post because you're like, I'm hustling, I'm working. And it was a crappy post, but you posted it because you needed to post. Y'all, one time I posted something so dumb that I looked back on it and I was like, I can't believe I posted that. It was like, if you're not drinking water, you need hydrate. Who cares about that? That adds no value to anybody. Nobody cared. They probably scrolled past and they're like, this girl is an idiot. Moving on. Do not just post to post, okay? But if you are not moving your feet, you're not going to go anywhere at all. Celeste Gwynn, she makes baller money. She does baller things with her money and she's just a baller. And she still recruits 3 people every single month. At least. At least. She already earned Cancun, you guys. So her hustle looks a lot different than ours, but she has worked to get to that hustle. Does that make sense? Okay. Let me get back to my notes because I don't want to just spiral on you guys. Please hold. But what I'm getting at is you don't have to hustle all the time, but you cannot just stand still and be like, oh, poor pitiful me, nothing's working, I'm going to do nothing. Okay? If you're not working in the trenches, then you don't get to succeed and see what it's like up here. Okay? I'm going to be real honest with you guys. We went Emerald 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago? Yes, I think so. I think it was 2 years ago. And we were just flying. And I was like, oh, nothing is going to stop us. We're going straight to the top. And God sat me on my little behind and was like, no, you got some things to learn. And then we started going like this. And I was like, after a year of re-ranking, we started just going down. And I was like, we have to hustle more. And that's not what we needed to do. We needed to work in a different type of way. Does that make sense? We still had to work. I didn't get all poor, pitiful me. I'm not going to work anymore because that's dumb. Okay. If you've ever felt that, that's dumb. Don't think that. Okay. Okay. Moving on to my takeaway number 2. The biggest takeaway from all of this is surround yourself with really awesome people, really confident people, faithful people, bold people, people that are not scared to tell you the truth. If you know me and you're in my circle, I am so honest to a fault sometimes that like people are like, she doesn't have a filter. Like I've been told that and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Like I'm just letting you know. But that's what you need in this business. You guys, my toes were stepped all over on this trip. But hold on, I can't find my notes that I sent. Okay. Number 2. The question of what has Plexus given you that you can't put a price tag on was asked at a training. And I literally was like I knew everyone was going to raise their hand and be like, more time with my kids, instant guilt, instant shame because I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. All these things were coming out. And I was like, no. Maybe that's not what they're going to say. You know what, guys? One of them said that. And then one of them said that she was, it makes me want to cry talking about it, but she was able to walk away from an abusive relationship and get her kids out because she had Plexus. She's able to stay home and take care of her mom that needs help because her mom raised her. And now she's getting to help her mom without worrying about how much money it is. Plexus can't put a price tag on that, right? Another one said just giving her kids the freedom that they've never had, that she never had as a kid. And now her kids get to live this life. And she's like, some would call my kids spoiled, but they're not. They're just getting to live really cool lives. Does that make sense? Raise your hand if you've ever felt like, oh, I don't know if I need more because I should be content with what I have. God's given me a great life. And if you haven't, maybe that's a me problem. But I've had to work through that because that's not what he wants. He wants you to have the life you desire, things like that. But she said that, and then Celeste went and got up and she was like, something that I can't put a price tag on is all the missionary work that we've been able to do in Africa. And I got to see my dad live out his dreams. Tears streaming down my face. And then Emily Roberts got up, and you guys, the people I'm mentioning that got up, and if y'all don't know who Emily Roberts is, that is my girl. Okay. She gets up and she's like, my husband is sitting back here working, and we have the strongest, healthiest marriage. And I know it's because we're safe here. We're safe in Plexus. I've become a better person. We've found God again together, things like that. And she's like, you can't put a price tag on a healthy marriage. And I'm like, wow, so much deeper than I was thinking, right? So I want you to write that down, because everyone has something. Even if you just went gold, you have something that Plexus has given you that you can't put a price tag on. Okay. Okay. So that's one thing about just like, anyways, we're moving on. Okay. Number 3, sharing boldly. I thought I was sharing really boldly. A specific question on how much money did you make last year? And I was like, I don't want to tell you that. And they were like, why not? Why are you scared to talk about it? Like, people need to know. If you are not sharing boldly about what this business has done for you or what it's going to do about vision, I encouraged my girls to post about vision today. Maybe you're gold, but you're going to emerald. Maybe you need that Lexus. I don't know what you need. Maybe you need that car stipend. You guys, it's $450 a month just handed to you. Do you know what that can pay for? A lot of things. Can pay for a lot of things. I went gold and I started buying myself a house cleaner. Saved my marriage for not yelling at my husband. But so if you're not sharing bold enough, nobody is going to believe that you're actually making what you're making or that you're actually making a difference. Okay. You want people to stop in their tracks and be like, wow, I need that in my life. If she can do it, why can't I do it? Does that make sense? And maybe somebody does just need $200 extra dollars, just $200 extra dollars. That's not a just. I shouldn't have said it like that. But $200 extra for someone could pay for a house cleaner. It could pay for organic groceries. Y'all, groceries are so stupid expensive right now. So post boldly. And I think that I was doing it out of like a fear of, I don't want people to be think I'm bragging. But I think it boils down to like, you're still caring what other people think about you, which becomes a pride issue. I'm really working on that. Pride is a word I'm really working on, ladies and gentlemen. There are no gentlemen on this call, but that's fine. See, if I can go emerald, anyone can go emerald. I'm just saying. All right. They said if you're not sharing boldly, like, that's selfish. And I was like, I'm not selfish. And they were like, you're gatekeeping a great opportunity that God gave you. And you're not telling anyone how big of an opportunity it can be. And I was like, oh, they're like, you are still working full time and you make a full-time salary on the side. Like, and you did that in the nooks and crannies. Like, you got to share about it. People don't know that. Okay. So sharing boldly. And then who you surround yourself matters. You guys, I spent a lot of time with different people, and just even Bob was like, these people are so confident. They're so excited. They've been here for 11 plus years and they're still so excited about this business. And I was like, it makes you feel safe, for one. And they talk about Jesus, and I'm sorry, but I'm like, we are good here. They're talking about Jesus. They're confident. They're good wives. They're mamas. They talk about their babies. And they talk about, like, they made it so normal that, sometimes we go down here, but we're going to rise, and it doesn't matter where we are because this is where we're going. You never once heard them say, yeah, well, I guess I'm tapped out at Diamond. I guess this is it for us. Like, heck no. They were like, I met a Diamond and she's Emerald now. And she was like, I don't care. I was Diamond for 5 years and now I'm Emerald, but guess what? I'm going back and I don't care. And I'm taking people with me. And I was like, oh, okay, like this is amazing. I'm over here boo-hooing over losing a few legs. Like, get over yourself. Okay. We're going back to the top. It doesn't matter. Because if your vision is strong enough, it doesn't matter. And I think like that was my biggest takeaway is like surround yourself with good people that are not negative, that are not draining your energy. If someone on your team is draining your energy, go give them some tough love and tell them that when their energy is good, they can come back in your circle and you will love them. But you can't go down that rabbit hole with them, you guys. You just can't. I know you know how it is to be sucked for energy. Okay? Sometimes your babies do it to you in the best loving way. Okay. I think, what's the next slide? Also, I just want to talk on this really quick. Alex stood on stage, and I'm pretty sure he was sick as heck, y'all. He was so pale. He sounded terrible. And the boat was like this. It was really rocking. And he was like taking a stance on stage. And he was like, y'all, I love God and I love my family and I love my wife and I love you guys. And we're not going anywhere because we're safe here. And we wouldn't have Plexus without you. And I was like, that's all he has to say for me to be like, we are safe here. We are safe. Okay, one other thing I have to say because it's really funny. If y'all don't know who Tarl is, I was not around when Tarl was here, but I think he's like the founder, right? And Alec like was co-founder with him. Okay. I didn't know him, but Sonia Dudley and who's like her person?
Helen McFadden.
Yes, they're both blonde. You guys, if this doesn't just tell you the family plexuses, they walked out with these shirts on. They're both in leather pants. We are on a boat, okay? They're both in leather pants, high heel pink shoes. Their hair's like bleach blonde and big, and they come out to The Boys Are Back in Town song. And they have shirts with Alec and Tarl's face plastered on them. And she's like, y'all, daddy's home. He is home. And we should be excited talking about Tarl. And I'm not even dying, like, not even lying. Everyone was dying. And I thought Alec was going to fall over with embarrassment. But they were just so excited for these two to be like back and working together. And it was just really cool. Like, it's just such a family in Plexus. And I just had to throw that in there because it was really funny and really great. Okay. What's the next slide? I'm not sure I'm supposed to talk anymore.
Okay. So here's Chandler.
Okay, my next
Yes.
that I just felt super convicted of after multiple conversations with really professional, really skilled, really creative social media ladies in our organization is that it is time to up our social media game. And I'm also speaking to myself because after 8 years of being here and even as a sophomore, I have never identified as a creative person. Social media has always kind of been a struggle. There have been seasons where I'm abundant, seasons where posting is fun, and there are seasons where posting feels really hard. But regardless of that, if we want to grow, we have to treat this the same way we would any other job. And that is we've got to set our goals. We've got to write down what our baseline is for the week. And we've got to be we've got to be showing up on social media because whether we like it or not, this is a social selling business. And a majority of your business will come through social media. Okay, so if you have not already just come to terms with that, let me tell you again, a majority of the growth in your business is going to come through social media. Okay, a majority of the girls on my team, y'all, was not in my warm market. I did not come into Plexus with a bunch of best friends. I did not come with like this really tight inner circle who was like, hip, hip, hooray, let's all do Plexus together. A lot of these women were in my cold market. They were a friend of a friend or a complete stranger who was following me on social media. And I don't have a big following. In case you're wondering, I have about 2,200 followers. But I've always been consistent. I've always been confident. I've tried to show up in every single season of my life in some capacity. And it has paid off. But I had to come to terms with, I've got to figure out social media. I've got to find a joy for it. And I've got to find a way to, try to expand my network at the very least, try to add value at the very least, try to make new connections. And so some things that I learned through conversations was getting way more creative than I am. If you're making several posts a week and you've been here for several years and you're not going in your business, it's either because your message has become dull and it's boring and it's lost its spark, or maybe your posting style is just not like keeping up with the algorithm, it's not edgy enough, or maybe your warm market is just kind of over it, honestly. If we're not growing our network all the time, and I mean all the time, we are missing out on huge growth opportunity. I have the advantage, I would say it's an advantage, the gift. I mean, I worked very hard to be a stay-at-home mom, but I do consider it a huge blessing. I have the opportunity to go to the park and meet new friends at the park. When I go to the grocery store, I'll start conversations with women I'm in the line with. When I'm at church, I'm very intentional about making connections with women that were, hanging out at the park after church, or even getting our kids checked in to Sunday class. Like, I'm always making new friends. And in every single one of those conversations, I say, I've so enjoyed chatting with you. Can I get your phone number and maybe add you on Facebook? And it's just it's so natural. It's so organic. And that's how I grow my audience. For some of you guys that have a higher demand in your schedule, maybe you're just way more introverted and you're like, ooh, don't sign me up for park dates or talking to people in public. Like, you're going to have to niche, you're going to have to narrow down here on social media and start intentionally growing your network through social sources. So what that means, or what that would look like, is like maybe you're part of an HOA or a neighborhood. Going to that page, finding women with profile photos who are like, oh, this lady's cute. Okay, sorry, that's kind of how I go. I'm like, oh, this lady's cute. She has a cute family. I go to her page. She has kids playing soccer. She has kids about my age. She has 2 kids. So I send her a message. Hey, I'd love to be friends with you. I see that you're in my neighborhood. I see that you have 2 kids. Like, I just want to break the ice. We're recently new here. Do you guys ever go to the park, or what do you like to do for fun? I'm just breaking the ice. Okay. And so we've got to be expanding our network, and we've got to be consistently posting about Plexus so that they can see it while we are growing the relationship that does not involve Plexus. Okay. But as far as getting creative, y'all, I want you to go follow Cassie Howard, because that was one of the most convicting conversations I had. I've grown with her through several ranks. I've watched her go Emerald. She's one of our worship leaders anytime we have a corporate event, and she's just an incredible human being. But she is so bold in who she is. She is so in tune with her brand. She is so in tune with her gifts. And many of her videos and posts have gone viral because she has figured out the algorithm. She's figured out how to go viral. And there is a science behind it, okay? And we all have the ability to figure this out, myself included. So I want y'all to go follow her and maybe ask her some questions, honestly. She's a really great poster, okay? Another conversation I had was with Emily Roberts. Most of you probably know her. She's incredibly bold, incredibly confident, incredibly silly, incredibly consistent. Okay, so what we see on the front end is, holy moly, this chick is on social media a lot, and she is. What we don't see is the back end work, all the conversations she's making, all the ice breaking conversations that she's starting in her new reach out connection messages, all the follow-ups that she's sending. I did not know, y'all, she's one of the top recruiters in our entire company consistently, month after month after month. Last month, she recruited 26 level 1s to her business. 26. Okay. So what you're seeing on social media is a small portion of her business. And I'm thinking, wow, I need to emulate that. I need to substantially up my game, because I, for one, would love to sign up 26 people, especially this month with our double leadership crew or leadership retreat bonuses, our double business building bonuses, and our next day pay. I absolutely would love to go sign 26 people. So
Can you pause her?
you got to get out of your own way with social media. We've got to stop comparing.
Okay. Another thing Emily did say is that she's in 12 new conversations almost daily, not Plexus conversations. And I was like, okay, who do you go to find? Because I get told all the time, I have no one to talk to, or I don't have this. And she goes, baseball mom era is in her, that's what she does right now. So, sorry, she will hashtag baseball mama, and she will follow anybody that has that hashtag, and she'll literally message them and be like, yo, what's up? I'm baseball mom too. Where are you at? And I was like, oh. And she's like, that's just who I am. Or if somebody goes to burn boot camp or something like that, she'll be like, oh, are you new here? I've lost 45 pounds doing boot camp and gut health supplements. I would love to chat. She just doesn't. She's like, if they don't respond, I don't care. I don't care, because I know I can help them make their lives better. And I'm like,
ourselves to other people and saying, oh, I don't have a pretty enough house, or I'm not skinny enough, or I'm not pretty enough, or I'm not creative enough. Like, again, that's trash talk, and it's not going to serve your business. And your business does heavily involve and heavily rely on social media. So lean into it, have some fun, go follow those two ladies I just said, Cassie Howard and Emily Roberts, and go look at what they're doing and go try to make that a goal, make it a baseline for your business to show up more consistently, more often, and more creatively, meaning the posts that you are seeing of people that you are not following, those are the viral posts, and those are what you need to be trying to duplicate. Okay.
Okay, let me see. We have one more from Chandler. Haley, was there something else that you were gonna cover?
I guess she spoke on this. What's your plan to go goal,
I
Jill?
guess it says slide 3, but there was a lot of slide. Maybe it's her slide 3. I don't know.
Okay, well, let's play her video. Oh my gosh, now I've got the dog and both children. Let's see what she has to say, and we'll go from there.
Got it.
Okay, my last message to you guys, and something that I just felt so overwhelmed with gratitude and humility and just joy ultimately, was in how every single person there is authentically and joyfully and confidently themselves. None of them are trying to act like somebody else. None of them are working out of their lane. Like, they're all utilizing their God-given gifts. They are all buckling down on the things that they do really well, and they all are leading with their best foot forward. And I just was like blown away how I think so much of the time we just see like the extroverted, really loud, bold women, okay? And we put them on pedestals and we're like, gosh, I want to be like that. When so much of us are not like that. I was connecting with the women who are not super loud, who are not super bold on social media, who are not super extroverted in social settings. And I was blown away by their authenticity, their love for the Lord, their confidence, their skill set, and their wisdom more than anything else, their wisdom. Blown away. And what I will tell you is that comes from personal development. So if you're looking at where you are right now and you're like, gosh, I don't think I could ever be a Jewel. I don't know that I could ever like have that confidence or have that posture, or I don't know that I could ever lead a team of that magnitude, or I don't know that I could ever get on stage and lead a training like that. I will tell you that how you get there, where you are right now and where you want to be, comes from two things: repetition in your IPA. I'm going slow so you can write this down. Repetition in your IPA, and it comes through personal development. You cannot do one and not the other. You have to do both. This is an and situation. Where you are right now and where you want to be, the only thing in between you is repetition with the work and personal development. And so if you're like, gosh, I hate reading, or I don't have time to read, stop the excuses. Like, I know for a fact when you're sitting on the pot, you're scrolling. Okay. I know because I do it sometimes too. You can watch a YouTube video during that 5-10 minute window. Okay. When you're washing dishes, you don't have to listen to your kids scream. You can get some like airplane silencing over the ear headphones, and you can listen to a podcast or an audible. When you're going on a walk with your kids, or even when you're on the treadmill at the gym, like, as much fun and as energetic as it is to listen to music, there are seasons that I've had to cancel the music, even in the car, and I have to finish up my Audible, or I've got to listen to a podcast because my business isn't growing and I'm not in the right headspace. Okay. And all of these women that I met, all of these jewels, all the ladies that you guys aspire to be, all of the ladies that you've put on pedestals because they have the status of jewel, they are mentally grounded. They are mentally stable. They are not spiraling in negativity. They are not spiraling with comparison. They are not simmering in self-doubt. They are mentally grounded, and they are abundant. They are growing, and they are positive because they do so much work on personal development. A lot of that can come through the Bible too. I don't know where we were in the walk with the Lord, but for me, this has been a very much so a spiritual journey, and I've had to learn my God-given gifts. I've had to learn what God says about me, not what I believe about myself, in order to come from a place of abundance and not from a place of scarcity, in order to come from a place of confidence and not from a place of fear. And so my message with this, if you are like, gosh, I want to be Jewel, I want to be seen as a leader, I want to start attracting some confident people, you've got to be growing what's happening in between your ears. You've got to be grounding that. You've got to be feeding it positivity. And I'll be honest, like, just getting real with you guys, I did not have a lot of cheerleaders in my corner when I started this. My husband was not supportive of me at all. He wasn't even supportive of me when I quit my full-time job to go all in with this, even though I shook his hand and told him I would be Jewel. I had an incredible sponsor, and that definitely worked to my favor. But I did not have a lot of family or friends that were cheering me on, saying, you can do this. In fact, it was the opposite. I was sending a lot of cold messages and getting no responses. I was making lots of posts because I was so hungry to grow, and I was getting no likes or comments. And so most days it felt very defeating, and I questioned, what am I doing here? But as soon as I could throw my AirPods in and start grounding myself and start feeding myself some positivity, I just realized, like, I can do this. I can do this. I do have what it takes. Okay. And so my message is just that if you're thinking, I want to find out who I am, I want to serve using my gifts, because we all are uniquely made, uniquely and wonderfully made. Okay. So the things that I'm good at, you're probably not going to be good at. The things that Celeste Quinn is good at, you're probably not going to be good at. And that is okay, because every one of these ladies that we met this week was all uniquely and wonderfully made, and they were all using their gifts. They were all in their lane. They were all just wonderful and wise, and it was just very cool. So that's my last message. I hope you guys really took away from what we have put into tonight. And we truly, more than anything, hope to see you guys on the next trip in Cancun.
That was awesome. So good.
Does anyone have questions?